but I'm strong, strong enough to hold my bags. They ain't heavy. They're my crypto. Welcome everybody to another episode of Savage Cash. Here with me, Suppoman, your superhero cryptocurrency guru. And today I am going to be showing you a way in which you can maximize your cryptocurrency profits for 2018. There are a number of people who are telling you the same old story. Use ICOs, use established cryptocurrencies, look at newer cryptocurrencies. But this time I'm going to cover something different. It's something that lots of people have asked me to cover. And in today's episode, I am finally covering it. So if you are excited to hear about how to maximize on your cryptocurrency profits this year, then essentially smash up the lights, both... that sounded like likes, both in anticipation, excitement, and also superiority that you are going to find out over anybody else. Just going to make sure I actually am live. Yes, it looks like I am live. And actually today, I got a bit of a good package in the post. I got this rather nice box from YouTube, and I was thinking, I wonder what this is. So I opened it up. It was a nice letter from the CEO of YouTube and my silver play button. So I am delighted that's going to get hung up along with my other one. So yes, good start to the day. So let's have a look and see how cryptocurrencies are performing today. Market cap of 713 billion, an increase from yesterday, and in fact an increase in just the last 10 minutes. About 10 minutes ago this was at 707 billion. Bitcoin was down towards the kind of low 14,000s in terms of value, but now it's moving up towards the mids. There are some rises, there are some fallers. Essentially it's just the same old story. You know, some are doing well, some are continuing to fall. There's a lot of bag holders, hence the opening song. There's a lot of people bag holding, particularly people who have invested in ICOs recently. Some of these ICOs have had a bit of a dip because there was a nice bull run. Everything was going up. There's now been a lack of confidence with the South Korean FUD. It has triggered a kind of lack of confidence in the market and therefore bearish movement. And so the ones that are the newest are the ones to be most affected. So that is the state of play today. Now, I had a lot of people kind of complaining yesterday that Trinity, which I spoke about yesterday, at the point at which I started the video, there was 17 minutes to go till the donation period, and it pretty much ended ASAP. It ended just like that. And today I was going to bring you another one. I was going to bring you another ICO called Digitex. And Digitex is essentially a decentralized futures exchange. And this basically just reached its hard cap in 15 minutes. And a big reason why is because this was essentially 1 cent a token. And it's relatively an exciting project. Okay, so what this is aiming to do is that it's enabling people to maximize profit from Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, trading and investing with zero or very, very low transaction costs. Okay, so it says here 0 trading fees. And essentially the token was being used to offset the fees. So they generate more tokens, inflate the token supply to offset the losses. So that is essentially what they were looking to do. So they were looking to just take away all of the costs associated with like buying Bitcoin, the $16 or whatever you would have to pay in transaction fees. So it looked relatively exciting, but as I said, this went out in just literally minutes. Okay, so one question that a lot of people ask me is, how do I find out about ICOs? Where do I find out where is the latest, where is the best? And essentially the place I always use is CoinSchedule. Now I use this as a way, it's coinschedule.com. It's a way of finding out what is coming up, what is currently live, and what percentage is actually fulfilled of the token sale. You can see it right there. Some of the information looks like it's slightly out of date, but it is nevertheless relevant. But one of the best ways is to join cryptocurrency communities, like my masterclass community, like the Cryptocurrency Collectors Club, like the Collectors Club for Beginners. Find out what is the kind of feeling on the streets. what are people liking, what are people hyping about, and that is how you find out what the ICOs that are likely to have social proof and hype following them. Okay, so that is my tip on ICOs. Okay, so there are a number of really good ones. In fact, almost too many good ones. I look on my mastermind group today and there are tons of ICO suggestions, like Cargox, for instance, Medical Chain. These are ones that people in my mastermind group are kind of feeling out, getting a kind of consensus going on my on the group and seeing what other people are thinking. And people are just generally excited about ICOs, but there are a lot, so you just got to be careful that the hype follows it, and it's not necessarily an ICO that will come into the market and then literally die after weeks. Okay, now let me just make sure that you can actually hear me, because I have tried streaming this twice and both times I made a mistake. So let me just see if you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. That's fantastic. So smash up the likes, peeps. Smash up the likes, because I'm going to share with you something awesome now that I've been meaning to cover for some time. Okay. Now the subject is essentially cryptocurrency and taxes. All right. So the other day I met with my accountant because the 31st, because I'm obviously self-employed, and the 31st is my cut-off point. The 31st of January is my cut-off point to submit last year's, not this tax year's, last tax year's accounts. And I had a chat with my accountant, who's an awesome accountant, by the way. And I was asking them about, you know, cryptocurrencies, because I say, well, next year, you know, I've got a huge amount of cryptocurrency that I've got to include, right? And this was an eye-opener. I kind of already knew this, but this was an eye-opener, and this has, in a way, stopped 15% of what I was doing in terms of trading activity. So let me now cut to the chase and just talk about this, because this is quite important. So this differs country to country. And the fact of the matter is that cryptocurrency is so bloody new that some countries haven't yet established proper rules regarding cryptocurrency and tax. So the most reliable source is your accountant. So if you want to know truly what are the rules governing cryptocurrency holdings in your country, it's accountants. Okay, go to your accountant and find out, and get a decent accountant, because a decent accountant is going to save you bucket loads of money when it comes to, you know, cryptocurrencies generally. Anyway, so let me explain to you essentially what I was told. And what I was told, like I said, was an eye-opener. I already kind of knew it, but this is important. So there are two main types of activity of trading. There's two main types of investment activity when it comes to cryptocurrency. And the first one is short-term trading. Okay, so this is anything from doing it over the course of minutes, a day, a few days, a few weeks. The short-term trading is when you're essentially holding a cryptocurrency for a very short term. Now, as far as the tax office are concerned, this is under a year. Okay, so anything that you've profited from, essentially bought and sold within a year, is short-term trading profits. Okay, and so what is applied to that is income tax. Okay, so whatever the income tax is in your particular country, your gains from short-term trading is going to be subject to income tax. Now, income tax is crippling in the UK. I should know. Essentially, if you earn over, I think it's 80k, you have £80,000, you have to pay 40% tax, which is ridiculous. If you earn over 150k, you pay 45% tax. That's essentially half. Half of what you have made in profit has to be paid back to the tax man, right? So, with short-term trades, what you have to do with the year-end accounts, because you have to submit them, you can't just do it, make profits and think that you've gotten away with it. You have to submit them in your annual accounts, right? If you're self-employed, this has to be submitted. It basically is treated the way stocks and shares are. If you cash out on stocks and shares, you have to submit that. You have to declare that. And so similar now with cryptocurrency, okay? So short-term profits are subject to income tax, and short-term is essentially under a year. Now, losses made can offset the gains, okay? So if you have made you know, hundreds, if you've made like 200,000 and you've made losses of 70,000, then that can get subtracted. So obviously overall your profits are about 130,000 then. So it's purely profit. So the losses get added and ultimately you come to a figure that is the profit that you've actually made when you consider what you've profited and what you've lost. Okay, so that's it. So basically that gets subject to up to about 45%. Could be different in your country, but looking at the profits I've made, that would be subject to, that would be 50% I'd have to give back to the taxman. So that basically encourages me not to do short-term trades. Okay. So let's look at the other end of the scale. So the second activity is long-term investing. Okay, so this is over a year. You buy a cryptocurrency, let's say BitDegree, and you hold it for over a year. That is classed as a long-term investment, and therefore the profits made is subject to a different tax. Okay, so how it works is essentially when you cash out. Okay, so if you turn that cryptocurrency into fiat, that's cashing out. That's your profit. Okay, so if you have cashed out into fiat, then that is subject to capital gains tax if it's been a long-term investment. Okay, so that is how it gets classed. Okay, now I think that, and also capital gains tax is about 19-20%, so not a lot less. You know, half the amount of tax you would be paying if you're paying income tax when you are cashing out your cryptocurrency. So if you hold it for a year or more, then basically that's subject to capital gains tax. Okay. Now, I just said if you convert to fiat. Now, when it comes to the short-term trading profits, you still have to declare those because you have still done that activity within a year. Okay, so essentially you have profited, even though you've now profited into Bitcoin, you are going to have to submit that activity as far as I believe. I have explained that to my accountant. I said, well, I haven't essentially cashed out into fiat for my short terms. They are still in cryptocurrency. But the fact is the trading activity and the profits made, which are then converted into Bitcoin, have to be submitted. So essentially, there's no getting away from it. People are looking at ways of dodging the system, putting their money into Dash or something that essentially they cannot be tracked to. And if you think about it, it can't really be tracked. Okay, but my recommended advice is to go to your accountant and make sure that you do what the accountant says to do. Okay, because don't look, and again, don't treat this either as a financial advice, because I'm not an accountant. I'm literally relaying what I have found out from my accountant, and this stuff is really important. This stuff encourages me to just hold all. I may as well hold all, because otherwise I have got to pay 50% of my profits, which I'd rather not do. And the fact is, and I showed you at the beginning of the year, when I did my, what could you have made $1 million from 1,000 invested from, I showed you that if you just held, stuff like Verge and BitConnect and No Limit Coin and Ripple from the beginning of 2017 to the end of 2017, then you would have made bucket loads of money. Bucket loads. 6-7 figures. And even in the case of Verge, you could have made around about 8 figures there of profit. So essentially that would only be subject to 19%, which is still a lot, but it's a lot better than if you made, let's say you made that 12 million or something that you would have made if you held Verge from 1,000 invested. I think it was Verge. Then you would have to pay, let's say you made 12 million, you'd have to pay pretty much 6 million back to the taxman. It's ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is that if you actually hold on, then you only have to pay 20%, so it's a lot less. So there we are, people, Marble Arch. So as you can see, this information here, I hope, is golden for you, because this actually sets really the parameters, although the specifics may differ from country to country. In the US and the UK, this is pretty much similar, and this is how it works. And this is potentially going to save you a hell of a lot of money when it comes to cashing out. So that is cryptocurrency and taxes, which in my opinion is a very, very important subject to bring up. So let's have a look and see what you guys are saying. This is all stress, man. So because of taxes, we're making money for someone else. Yeah, that is basically how it is. So essentially, and this the taxation is theft. Yeah, I mean the thing is that it's just a fact of life. I mean, if there's one thing that is guaranteed in life, is taxes as well as death. If you've probably heard the saying, there are two things guaranteed in life: death and taxes. And unfortunately, there is, as somebody's just said, it's irrelevant for anybody outside of the UK. It's really not. Because that is literally how tax is treated in a lot of countries. Although the specifics may be different, actually, short-term trading profits are normally subject to income tax, and long-term investments are subject to capital gains tax. No way will I pay tax. What if you bought Bitcoin at $100, then bought $100 of QSP, then held QSP for over a year? Is that action still considered a trade from your Bitcoin? Well, if you bought QSP with Bitcoin and then held that QSP, then that's a long-term investment. So no, I mean, essentially that's like using fiat to buy a stock and then holding that stock. So no, it isn't. It's only really if you bought, let's say with your Bitcoin, you bought some Ripple. Ripple did really well. You sold it within a year, which is very likely. You probably sold it after a month or so. And then you bought QuantStamp. QuantStamp, if you held that for over a year, would be a long-term gain. And essentially the Ripple, that would be the trade. You would have to pay tax on the profits of that trade. And you'd have to submit, essentially, the profit that you made. Even if it was reinvested, you've got to declare that that is how much you made in profit, which takes the piss, but that is essentially it. It's still a different transaction from then reinvesting into QuantStamp, because subsequently you will have to pay for the transaction of QuantStamp, which will be capital gains. Hope that makes sense, peeps. Hope that makes sense. Now, my father doesn't have to pay tax on his stocks and shares because he's held them for a certain amount of time. So something that might be worth asking is how much time do you have to hold on to a cryptocurrency? As far as I'm concerned, I am not going to be holding on to cryptocurrencies for 30 years. It's just not going to happen. But there may be some that I do keep a little bit vested in. I imagine that cryptocurrencies is going to stabilize well within the time span of 30 years. And so I'll probably cash out into fiat. But, if you have a look at the negative implications of doing so with tax, then obviously it puts one off having to do that. I think that certainly something that you've really got to look into is a system of recording those profits. Because although the exchanges have a ledger, that ledger is not what is submitted to the tax office. You've got to actually submit, because ultimately it will all come out in sats value. So you've got to then translate it into fiat value so that they understand how that works. So that is the system you've got to think about when it comes to taxes. Taxes, I'm sorry to have to say it, is going to be a ball ache. So although this is all fun, although cryptocurrency is tremendously exciting, you can profit from it, and there is a lot of people doing trading. I certainly have done quite a bit of trading. There's always a appetite for it. There's always a reason for it, and when you buy the rumor, sell the news, I mean, that's probably one of the best ways of making gains. But you have to remember it has to be submitted. Now, I think that there are certainly a lot of whales that are looking to get out of that system, hence why privacy coins have become so big, why they have become majorly invested in. It's not because people are seeing, Verge or Dash as, oh yeah, they're big millionaire makers. They are big millionaire makers, but they're also using it as a bit of a safety deposit box so that they don't have to pay taxes, and essentially the gains and how much they hold can't be attributed to them, and then subsequently, they're waiting, I believe, probably for a solution where they can cash out their Dash to fiat without it being found out by the tax office. But the tax office, if you try and mess with them, you go to jail. So ultimately, you got to play by the book. In my personal opinion, play by the book, peeps. But try and figure out a system by which you can record your transactions, because it is going to be important. Any good tax sites that do the calculations? There are some tax sites, but I have not actually come across a cryptocurrency one. And I think that if a cryptocurrency, I mean, ICO I was going to tell you about, where they're essentially saving you transactions in futures trading and futures exchanges on a decentralized exchange, which is what this is. Essentially, your money, you don't put the money on the exchange with this. Your money is essentially recorded via a smart contract, so you don't have to fund this decentralized exchange. Your money is essentially attributed to this smart contract, so no money has to be on an exchange. It's trustless as a result. But anyway, going back to the point, I think there needs to be more platforms that solves pains. And tax is a big pain in cryptocurrency. And certainly I think I've just blown that pain up massively to you, because obviously now you're probably thinking, well, how am I going to record all my profits? How am I going to, you know, keep a good handle on it? Because I've made hundreds, if not thousands, across the course of the last financial year, this financial year, and I don't know quite how to record them. Well, you're going to need to basically record them, according to my accountant, who I trust and think is absolutely right. But like I said, guys, make sure you go to your specific accountants, get an accountant. Honestly, do not mess about with this, because if you get found out, you get in trouble. Okay, and it's just something that is unfortunately a fact of life. You know, nothing, unfortunately, no money that we make comes free. It all gets subject to some tax or other. So, you know, you can try and dodge it using the fact that, you know, it's not, you know, using the fact that cryptocurrency is not like real money. It's not as easy to track who it belongs to. It's not as easy to track what the history is of that money. At the same time, if, you know, governments figure out a way of being able to find out, you could be in a lot of trouble. So it's just best to keep your arse covered. Any other questions? Any questions not necessarily related to taxes? I don't mind. Tax reform is coming anyway. I think that tax is going to be... yeah, it is 45% in a lot of my cases, I'm afraid, Jesse. Yeah, it is. No getting away from it. There probably is going to be some tax reform, but given that centralisation doesn't like decentralisation, I don't think it's going to be good. And that's just fact of the matter. I tax you and you tax me, Pokemon. Weird comments, weird comments. Can you pass my details? I need a good accountant. You just need to find a good accountant, essentially. How can I get a trade history off of Binance? You should have. If you look at your trade history, they should provide you with every single trade that you've made. So it's a ball ache, but ultimately it has to then be translated into what it means for fiat. It's I don't quite know. I can't quite get my head around it, but that's, you know, that is fact of the matter. Best advice you've ever received about cryptocurrency. The best advice I've ever received... I've not really received advice as such. I think probably the best tip I was ever given was the Ripple tip. My breaker into cryptocurrency, when I first got into cryptocurrencies, was with Ripple. But I think the best advice I would give is what I've essentially found out from the mistakes of others, which is about long-term holding. And if you've got something with long-term potential, bloody hold the thing. Bloody hold the thing. Jerry Banfield sold Dash at $85 a Dash, and he had a Dash Masternode, so he got $85,000. That could now be worth over $1 million, and its peak could have been over about 1.6 million. Same with Box Mining. He got Bitcoin at $10, and now it's, well, look how much it is. So look at that. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to hold on. What do you think about Ethos at the moment? I think that Ethos, along with a lot of cryptocurrencies like Utrust, like a load of cryptocurrencies that have really exploded recently, is kind of gone down a bit. But you couldn't expect the bull run to just go on forever. There was always going to be a time. There was this prolonged period where they just kept going up. It was a long time. It just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. There was nothing stopping it. Every day I was thinking, there's got to be a correction. There's got to be a correction. There's got to be a correction. And there wasn't. It never came. And then suddenly now we're in this bearish movement where, you know, Bitcoin was first affected, went from 20k down to 12k, and then a lot of others followed, and then the other altcoins went back up, and now they are starting to fall as well as Bitcoin now starts to gain. So although you can see some of the established coins, like Neo, for instance, going up towards $200 is amazing, but you're going to see the likes of, you know, newer coins suffering. Let's see how AppCoins is doing after yesterday. So this was $2.40 yesterday, then spiked up to about $2.68, and now it's gone down because there's a lack of confidence in the market, and that's just the way it is. But it is going to go back up. Normal service will be resumed, people. Don't panic. Listen to the song I sang at the beginning. Hold your bags, because they are going to help you out in the future. There's been a lot of people that have been asking me about cashing out, and I think one of my best examples why you should not cash out is Ethos. So Ethos, I told a huge number of my mastermind group to get involved in when it was at ICO at 5 cents a token. And there were people that flipped it pretty much straight afterwards. So after it came out on the market, people sold it for 20 cents. Some people sold it for 50. Some people sold it for about $1. And it subsequently went up to $13, to the point that 10,000 tokens, which would have cost you about $500, 10,000 tokens was worth a Bitcoin. You know, you could buy you could probably buy about 2 Bitcoin with 10,000 tokens, when they previously were were counted for nothing against Bitcoin. So, so really long-term holding, without looking at the whole tax implications, long-term holding is the best strategy in cryptocurrency. Don't be put off, because it always goes back. There were people that were saying, I can't believe it's gone up, it's gone up, it's gone up. That's because there was such a bear period for so long, and then it became very bullish, and now it's become bearish again. It's like an Elliott wave. It goes up 2 levels, it goes down 1 level, goes up 3 levels, goes down 1 level, goes up 4 levels. It's just going to keep going. And I mean, the fact that, Binance, Bittrex, Poloniex, Bitfinex, all of these exchanges have stopped taking on customers. They almost can't take on new customers. There's just so many people by the bucket load entering cryptocurrency. So, they almost can't take on all the batch of new people. So it just goes to show how popular things are getting, and that just to be set up for a wave, essentially. You should do a course on crypto tax. I have always thought about it, but the fact of the matter is that tax applies. I've got global students on Udemy, and tax, really, I can only get the tax from my country. And I don't want to have to pay accountants from all over the world to give me that information. And quite frankly, I don't think it could happen. But essentially, you now have a bit of knowledge now, and you have a bit of an idea of what you need to do, and what you need to do with the info as well, and that you do need to submit this. You can't. A lot of you probably came into this video thinking, when I buy and when I sell, that's just a transaction from the past. No need to worry about that anymore. Now, you do have to worry about that. You do have to submit it to your accountant. You do have to submit it for your annual tax. Then that's just how it is. That's just how it goes. It's unfortunate, but that is the law of the land. Cointracking.info. Let's have a look at cointracking.info then. So cointracking.info, I'm imagining, is similar to CoinSchedule. Let's have a look at cointracking.info. I've probably seen it before. Oh, this is portfolio. Ah, nice. Nice. Okay, so this is for tax reports. Okay, so it isn't actually a replacement to CoinSchedule. Interesting. Tar very much. Tar very much, Kevin. Interesting. I'll have a look at that coin tracking. Is Cardano good for a hold for a year? Yes. I said that this is one of my top coins for 2018. My top picks. I told you that about 10 cents when I really wanted it to be about 2 cents, but it just ran away with it. But yeah, Cardano's going to be good. There's a number of really good ones here. The one there are people say, Suppoman, why don't you hold any Stellar? Why don't you hold any IOTA? Because I just don't like the projects personally. And I mean, at the end of the day, I can't invest in everything, and I tend to invest what I believe in and what I really like. Lend Connect. Forget Lend Connect. I can't stand lending sites, especially ones that are a lot like BitConnect. So let's have a look at Lend Connect. Insane. That is ridiculous. Look at that. That is just ridiculous. These lending platforms, eh? Big money makers, but I'll never put my name to it. Utrust is just following on from what a lot of other cryptocurrencies are doing right now. It's just taking the hit and then it will explode back again. You don't need to worry. The only important, the thing that, I mean, this is the thing. People imagine that what ultimately happens is that these things can be predicted, these things can be anticipated. Nothing can be anticipated in cryptocurrency, okay? I mean, I can put my price predictions out, I can get my trusty 8-ball here, and I can essentially say, what will be the price of Cardano in a year? And let me see what it says. It's looking likely. Interesting. I don't know what that actually means, but anyway. So going back to it, these things can't be predicted. So although you say, you know, Suppoman, what do you think is going to happen with Utrust? I can't really say. All I know is that it's going to go up because, you know, confidence will come back in the market, and a lot of people will love the sound of Utrust. And not only that, but Utrust is going to continue to innovate. It's going to continue to work towards being the PayPal of cryptocurrency. So just don't worry. Thank you very much, Lewis. Cooper, Neutron roadmap coming out on the 20th if anybody's interested. People are saying, we power, we power. How many bear bull cycles have you been through in your time in crypto? Tons! I've been through, and I've never ever been affected by them either. The first one I really had was the big one at the end of May 2017, which was when, essentially like when Steam went from $2 something to about 74 cents. Digibyte lost a shite ton of money. And essentially, yeah, I've been through a ton of them, and I've always looked at them salivating. I've always looked at them thinking, yes, this is another opportunity for me to buy at the bottom and watch it explode to the top. Now, when you look at cryptocurrencies today, unfortunately, there are going to be a number of cryptocurrencies that will never see their previous figures, okay? Ethereum's probably one of them. Will it ever go down to $200, $300 again? I don't know. Probably not. Ripple, will it ever go down to 20 cents again? Probably not. Cardano, will that ever be 2 cents again? No, it definitely won't be. Litecoin, will that ever be $3 again? No. Will that even be $48 again? Probably not. So, you know, I said over a ton of periods during the big China FUD period in September, buy and accumulate these cryptocurrencies because they are amazing prices, particularly EOS. EOS, I couldn't believe, went down to about 40 cents, and I said, buy it, buy it, buy it. A lot of people probably didn't buy it. Now it's $14. So now all the now it's all going to the league has moved up. The prices have moved on another level. So I think that what people are going to be doing is they're going to continue investing in these as like their more secure investments. But really, people are going to go down to the bottom and underneath the top 100, and they're going to find cryptocurrencies to invest in that are going to explode over 2018. But 2018 is going to be the year of the ICO. There's going to be a ton of ICOs that come out. Not all of them are going to survive. A lot of them are going to be dead. So you've got to follow the ones that have real long-term potential and social proof. So I hope that helps. Hope that helps. Anything more? A lot of people saying BitConnect's on the way out. And I'm going to have a look at that overnight and provide you with some information on that. John Lennon Beatles song, Taxman. I've been listening to some John Lennon today, so yes. Yes. We Power ICO, yes, good. Red Coin, no, it's not good, don't like it. VeChain, awesome. Smart Cash, very, very interesting. Titanium ICO, I'm going to look into that. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to let me know in the comments, let me know what cryptocurrencies do you want me to cover ICO-wise, okay? Now, I'm not going to look at all of them. I'm going to look at the ones that are provided. If you see somebody has already commented an ICO that you like, then smash a like on it so I know that it's got social proof and people want to know about it. And then I'll apply my criteria and then I'll bring it to you if it's got promise, okay? So that is what I will do for you. So if you just do that for me, I will do that for you. But leave it in the comments, actual comments, not the live comments. There's so many ICOs, and I mean literally just had a splash of comments right now. You know, Tradov, Inex, INS ecosystem, Metronium, Zpin, Go Network, B Token, Gems, Gibrel, Arc Block, never heard of it, Shipchain, Iongo, Nex, Titanium. There's so many new ones, okay? There's so many. Okay, so I am going to look through these, but what I would say is just make a comment on my once this is no longer live. Make a comment, and if you see somebody's already made the comment, then like the comment so that I know that that's what you guys want me to cover. I'm quite happy to cover some of these. I'm not looking at every ICO, so people are saying, Suppoman, what do you think of this? Suppoman, what do you think of that? I don't know half of them, so yeah, I can't tell you because there's just so many, and there's more by the day. So the best I can do is just essentially let you know what I like. But what I will say is that I am particularly loving VR-related cryptocurrencies, VR-related ICOs. Boy, I love virtual reality. It's going to be so big. Any last questions? Trevon James ICO, ha ha ha. Ian Bellina, I don't think he has much of a problem with me. I think that it's just a YouTube drama that he's just exploded. It's alright by me. I don't really care. I don't really look at Ian Bellina, so it doesn't really matter. Why don't you start a new site? I haven't got time, peeps. I haven't got time to start a new site. If I did, I would do it, but I don't have time, I'm afraid. I literally hardly have... Marius, yes! Marius, yes! That's all I'm going to say on the matter. You are right, Marius. I'm a scared man, It's not cap, whatever it is, capacity or whatever. It's not that one. That's not the one I like. Somebody has mentioned it. Is my top 10 still the same? Is in my top 10 portfolio? In all honesty, I don't know. Probably not. I think Ethos has gone. Ethos is still number 1. Bitcoin is still probably number 2. How much do you keep behind for buying low? Well, I've got a hell of a lot in Bitcoin, so I use my Bitcoin to buy low. There we are. I don't add fiat anymore. I don't need to. I've made so much in the last kind of 8 months that Bitcoin is now my storage for being able to buy into or convert into Ethereum and then buy into ICO. I don't actually use Coinbase anymore. I am anti-Coinbase. Until Ethos comes along, I'm not going to be using fiat because Coinbase are quite frankly like the tax man. They take the piss. So there we are, me village. I'm a scared man. Any more? No more. Other people saying clear poll, clear poll, clear poll. I know there is some stuff happening with Clearpoll. Clarify is coming out very shortly, if it hasn't already. Clarify is going to be the kind of verify solution for ICOs. Yes, so I know they're doing some work on their ICO. They're doing some work. I can't really tell you a lot other than that because they've got something coming out on the 17th of January, which is when? When is that? What's that? 15th. So in 2 days' time, something big's coming out with Clearpoll. They're coming out with, I think, a new site. So smash up the Clearpoll, smash up the Clearpoll. I think that's it, peeps. That is it for today's episode. So that's it. I hope this educated you. I hope that you've learned a lot from it. I hope that it's educated you on regards to taxes for sure, because taxes is going to be a big, big, fat pain in the backside for next year's annual return. So there we are, mate. There we are. I'm not gonna fall foul of the law. I once was in the law. I actually trained as a solicitor, peeps. Would you believe that? Would you believe that? Bitcoin sounds interesting. $33. I wonder how high performance blockchain's doing actually. While I'm still here, high performance blockchain. Wow. Come on, keep falling. Keep falling. I want you. I want you. Right, that's it, peeps. That's it for today's episode of Savage Cash. I'm going to bring out more videos on ICO soon because it's so flipping exciting. And I can't contain myself quite personally. And it's going to be similar along the lines of the video I brought you yesterday, which is going to be a one-pager, which is about the problem that they solve. What are the selling points? What is the investable points? What is the token price? What's the supply and everything? Just so you've got some really good information to make educated decisions. That's it though, peeps. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Savage Cash. And I will see you next time. It is lights out, all out. Da 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 da.